Hey guys, Nalabyte here, and welcome back to Westward Dystopia. Okay, we are going to continue from where we left off last time. You leave the inn and scout its exterior thoroughly until you've convinced yourself that all active threats have been dealt with. The invaders hadn't posted any guards on the exits, and their mounts appear hard-ridden, muzzles frothy with a freckling words of white foam, their coats matted with sweat. You shake your head. This was sloppy, unprofessional mercenary work. You'd seen worse in your day, but such low-tier mercs would never have had resources affording them this level of weaponry. That handgun. You've gone years in the waste without seeing its like. Given the array of evidence, you speculate that this pack of wild dogs was assembled in a hurry, with little regard for the quality of men selected. They were then tasked to ride to Randall in utmost haste with complete disregard for the well-being of their mounts. A good riding horse free of mutation is worth far more than the mercenary riding atop it. A well-financed rush job, then. Nobody could afford to risk losing riding stock these days unless they had money to burn. But who paid them? Who held their leash and gave the command to slaughter indiscriminately? The unanswered questions gnaw at you as you scan the horizon in all directions, eyes narrowed and squinting under your raised palm. You dab at your forehead with the back of your hand, the relentless sun already causing you to sweat profusely. Your hand comes away dappled with streaks of red. The killing was a regretful business, but some dogs need to be put down. Wiping your hand clean in a thin, reedy clump of grass as you pass by, you make your way to the nearby barn where your horse is stabled. You saddle your mount with haste, eager to take your leave before another rabid pack of mercenaries can descend upon you. After securing your belongings in a pack strap, you're ready to head out into the wasteland once again. The worn leather of your duster snaps in a sudden dry wind and rustles restlessly behind you, as if anxious to get a move on. You gaze wistfully back at the inn you had briefly called home before sighing regretfully and mounting your steed. Words. Where to go? Best to take a moment to think before bolting off in a random direction like a startled hare. You remove a large unfolded piece of parchment from deep within the front pocket of your duster, given to you by the high lords of Benaron themselves. I'm so glad I remembered how I said that. I still don't know if that's the proper pronunciation or not. The document features a series of complex notes and technical diagrams. The Lord's technicians have spent the last several years salvaging small pre-raising cities and poring over meticulously translated ancient texts, slowly learning the secrets of electricity and technology. Ancient ruins of abandoned cities litter the landscape of the wasteland several weeks' ride apart. Many of these ruins are encircled by an invisible barrier which prevents entry. These shields, as the common folks call them, have somehow been in operation for hundreds of years, their power source unknown. The Technomancers Guild has worked for generations to instill the fear that such ruins are cursed and must be avoided, all while quietly working to penetrate the shields themselves. Whatever treasure trove of secrets these cities likely contain could easily shift the delicate balance of power in favor of whichever faction breaches the walls of a shield first. While it's unknown exactly what awaits within the unsullied cities, when one considers the marvels that have been pulled from unshielded cities' ruins, even after centuries of looting, both scientists and lord alike salivate at the idea of being first to delve into the forbidden caches of their ancestors. Your assignment, lest you forget in your flight, centers on both the scouting of a local city ruin and the retrieval of a very specific item. You have explored the wastes and townships surrounding the city, and gathering information pertaining to the regional pre-raising installations. The papers and diagrams you were given document the most likely forms that a key to the shield would take based off the technician's research. They should make it simple enough to spot the device, should it actually exist. The Lords have made it clear to you that yours is a time-sensitive mission. Their spy network delivered several reports indicating that the Technomancers Guild is close to cracking the secrets of the shielding. With the working shield key and the inevitable weapon cache hidden in the forbidden cities, the guild would become unstoppable. You have your doubts as to whether the Lord Benaron would be benevolent dictators themselves. You have a strong aversion to their rigid caste system and the way they treat their lower classes. But you must admit to yourself that they have a significantly better track record than the guild, plus they're paying you well, which always takes some of the sting out of doing distasteful work for lesser of two evils. Your idealistic side, however, has considered simply destroying the key technology when and if you uncover it. Some powers are better left out of the hands of mortal men. Best to cross that bridge when you come to it, though. The going has been slow, and exploration based on local rumor. Sorry, I've got a frog in my throat tonight. Of course, the one night I decided to do a do a reading one. Local rumor has yielded a few results. On a dig site a month ago, you were discovered by the Technomancer scouts, and you barely escaped with your life. Thoughts of the guild and your homeland give you pause, and you hesitate, your horse whinnying to get you back on track, not knowing why you're on the move, only knowing that you have some place to be, and the quickest way to get there is to get started. You bite your lip hard enough to draw blood. Steady your resolve. There's work that needs doing. Where to, indeed? It would be best to stock up on supplies in the small neutral territory trading post to the west before moving too far out of the areas that you're familiar with. Aside from that, there are also 2 leads you feel are worthy of following up on. You've heard numerous rumors of a buried fortress with metal walls, to the east nestled deep within the earth. Such a place may be an oasis, a hidden bunker from pre-raising times. Several of these bunkers have been discovered over the centuries, although the automated defenses were said to be fierce. Delving into their deepest depths has only been accomplished by the guild once. An oasis would be a logical repository for the key technology necessary to open the city's shielding. Yes, the more you think about it, this is the most promising site to explore. Your other lead would send you to the north. There have been reports of mysterious happenings at what the locals believe to be a pre-raising military base, 3 days' ride from Randall. Several travelers and merchants coming from the north have stopped at the inn and corroborated this story. You've heard tale of everything from mutant infestation to balls of flame and lightning flying up from the ground. Sounds like as good a bet as any rumor you've been party to thus far. I don't know why I started saying that one so slow. Okay, gotta try and remember, because I did play a playthrough of this once before on the channel, just the first one. I didn't play very much into it, and then I ended up playing it on my own, and then of course, you know, we got the key from Mr. Dean to get the full version. And I don't remember where I've been. Trading posts and stock up for the journey ahead, which we do need to do. Head east, review heard rumors on the buried fortress. North, check out the military base. Let's go stock up real quick. If there is one constant out here in the fringe areas of the wasteland, it's change. Nowhere is this fact more keenly apparent than in the middle of the hustle and bustle of the largest trading post in the northern fringe. A merchant might be here for a day, a week, a month, but very few set up shop permanently here. Stalls line the central throughway in a haphazard fashion. Merchants calling from them, all eager to sell their wares to passerbys before their neighboring competition. The thundering din of the place somehow always manages to catch you off guard, and you cringe for a bit inwardly as you accustom yourself to the frantic energy of mass commerce at work. Given your recent discovery by the mercenaries, you make sure to keep an eye out on anyone getting too close to you. It would be all too easy to find yourself shanked by a passing browser that you might not ever see. Fortunately, you tend to exude a natural state of what has been described to you as predatory grace, which has a remarkable tendency to cause crowds to flow around you. forming a small but useful bubble of space which allows you to move freely and keep an eye on anyone willing to enter its boundaries. You browse the shops in an expedient manner. I'm not sure if I said that right. And note a few of specific interest that might be selling items that would be useful during your journey. A merchant selling what seems to be higher quality armor and steel weaponry than most of the competition catches your eye, and you make note of him, as well as a few prominent food vendors attracting a pickier clientele, all of whom seems contented with their purchases, after a quick haggle, of course. There is also an older man on the far edge of the market, being all but ignored by the crowd of shoppers. He is attempting to hawk what seems to be junk scrap at first blush. Upon closer inspection, you realize that these may actually be relics of old world tech. Well, let's see how much we have. Let's see. Character sheet. We have 106. So we'll browse the weapons and armor first. You approach the weapons and armor vendor, and he looks you up and down before blowing out his mustache and leaning forward intently. He's a tall, well-built fellow, and you consider it probable that he forges his wares himself, unlike many of the middlemen selling lower-quality goods for smiths that couldn't be bothered to stand behind their own craft's quality. The smith proffers you with his hand in a good-natured but brisk and businesslike handshake. "You have the look of a fighting man," he says to you, cocking his head to one side and sizing you up. "Not very well equipped, but I know a fighting man when I see one. I can get you what you need. My prices will be higher than most of these fool peddlers, but I stand behind my goods and make every piece with my own hand. You'll find no higher quality weapons and armor in the market," he says with a strong sense of genuine pride, bereft of the smug self-satisfaction that you have often noticed in swindlers. You have a feeling that goods purchased from this vendor will stand up to whatever you can throw at them. It is unlikely that you will need the swords, given the offensive power of your revolvers. But a knife is always versatile, and handy if you left yours back in Randall. Body armor of any kind would be an excellent choice as well. Remember that body armor bonuses are not cumulative, as only one set can be worn at a time. Only the best set applies its bonus. Every point in defense will automatically reduce damage dealt to you by 1 every turn. Okay, let's see what we do have. Okay, so we did remember to grab our knife from the last one. I couldn't remember. So we've already got the knife. I'm going to assume that the ringmail armor is going to be better. I didn't pick out leather armor. I was going to say, I picked out ringmail. Okay. You pick out a set of leather armor, which has been embellished with a series of small metal rings sewn into rows for better protection, which the vendor obligingly allows you to fit and try on before you finalize your purchase. While a bit snug at first, a few adjustments of the numerous buckles and straps have it fitting as though it were made specifically for you. The craftsman looks pleased as he takes your payment for the armor. It's not every day I see someone who knows what he's doing with a good set of armor. So many people want gaudy decoration and don't even know how to fit it properly. It's nice to do business with a professional again. This armor's defense score is +2. If you find or buy another set of armor, you will remove this and replace it with the better set using only its bonuses. Armor bonuses are not cumulative since you can only... Yeah, we already know that. You continue to browse the weapons. No, I don't need any of that. You complete your business and secure your belongings, ready to move along. Where to next? Let's visit the relics, because we need to get the flashlight, or torch, as people in the UK say. Towards the end of the long row of vendors, you finally come to a sprawling layout showcasing everything from old coins and figurines to jewelry and artifacts of days long past. A banner prominently displayed above the shop declares, "Where rarity is common," in large bold lettering. The shop's proprietor is currently rummaging through a deep wooden box behind the counter. oblivious to the general comings and goings happening around him. You clear your throat, and he pokes his head out of the box, and he flashes you a smile as he readjusts his wide-brimmed hat and peers at you through a pair of well-preserved spectacles. "Welcome, stranger," says the man in a thick drawl. Oh, wait, sorry. I don't know if I can do these on command. Okay, we're gonna stay away from the voices. I was gonna try and do the southern drawl, but I don't even do mine very well anymore. As he reaches down behind the counter to pick up a small dog from the ground. "This is Fifi, and I'm Dawn. I specialize in anything and everything rare. If you have the gold, I have the time. So I also buy. So if you happen to be carrying any rare antiquities, and I don't know. I'm too tired to talk. Any rare antiquities, other than those revolvers beneath your coat, I'd be happy to give you fast cash on the spot for them. I also buy gold in bulk. Exchange prices are at a 20-year high." He smiles absently, as though reacting to a private joke that you weren't in on, completely ignoring the fact that he's just dropped a bomb on you. You quickly check to ascertain whether or not your revolvers are properly hidden in the folds of your duster. How had the old man... Don't worry. Dawn leans forward and winks in exaggerated fashion. "I just have a knack for firearms. Your secret is safe with me." That damn frog. In all your years of adventuring across the world, from the waste to the high-walled cities of Benaron and Brute, you have never once come across anyone outside of the guild or mercenary group that knew exactly what your weapons were, much less that they were revolvers. You cinch up your duster more securely and hit your holsters further back to keep them from exposure, silently cursing yourself for being so careless. "Are you guild?" Dawn asks you, opting for directness. "You don't strike me as the type, or I wouldn't have said anything." You shake your head in response, and the man seems to rise a bit, as though a load of tension just flew away from his shoulders. "So, what can I do today for a fellow hunter? I have a few items you might find very useful somewhere around here." He rummages through stacks and boxes before array some extremely interesting items before you that you never expected to see out here in the wastes. Let's enter the store. Let's see. We need the electronic torch. "Ah, the electric torch, eh?" Dawn grins as you heft the weighty cylindrical device. "Now this thing is a joy. You be wary of how much used, though, because it has a limited power, and these power packs inside don't last forever. And it's useless without it. These are my last 2 packs." Dawn opens the end of the electric torch, flashlight, with a twist and shoves 2 cylindrical power packs, batteries, into the device before shutting it again. "Now just flick the switch," he demonstrates before briefly illuminating the wooden countertop of his stall, "and you'll be able to see in the darkest of places. I'd say you have roughly 30 minutes of time on the charge there, so use it sparingly and in good health. Anything else I can interest you in?" Go back to the store. We're going to buy a laser sight. We got the money, why not? Stock up on everything. "The best defense is a good offense, I always say," Dawn offers as he hands you your purchase. "Now this old gal's a real piece of work. Just attach it to one of your firearms using these attachments. Switch her on, and waiting to aim's a thing of the past. This should easily add to your damage output speed. The gadget charges up quick on solar power. Just leave her out for about 30 minutes every day, and it should be ready anytime you need it. No rare power packs necessary." Dawn allows you a brief access to a small enclosed space behind the front kiosk to assemble the accessory, offering you tips in an exaggerated conspiratorial tone, his eyes going wide when he sees your revolvers close up, but thankfully keeping silent regarding any unasked questions concerning the weapon's origin. The laser sight gives you a +1 to your attack bonus score. Sweet. And, of course, plastic explosives. What game isn't complete without explosives? An oldie but a goodie. Classic C4 explosives work every time. This stuff is just fantastic. You can mold it like clay, keep it right in your pack, jolt it, whatever, and it won't explode. Don whacks the explosive against the table to demonstrate, eliciting an involuntary cringe from you as he grins. You can even set fire to it and it won't explode. You'll have a hard time setting this off by accident. It's even safer than a grenade. So in answer to the obvious query, you set it off with this sweet little number right here. Don proffers a small cylindrical device to you. This is a blasting cap. Fix this business end first to the explosive and trigger it by lighting the fuse here with your flint and steel. And then get away, and then get the away. And that just sent my brain for a spin. What? And then get the away. Okay. Quick, because this makes one heck of a boom, let me tell you. I've read in some old explosive manuals I found over the years that you used to be able to detonate this stuff just by pushing a button. Unfortunately, I still haven't figured that one out yet. Ah well, here you go, stranger, all in good health now. And we have bought everything from him. You can bleach your business and secure your belongings, ready to move along. Where to next? Well, we don't have any raw gold yet, so let's go to the food vendor. Okay, make sure you guys are still there. I'd be so mad if I was doing this and it wasn't working. There are a great many food vendors scattered throughout the market, although not all of them cater to the same clientele. There are stalls selling everything from quality meals cooked in order to dried travel rations and everything in between. You know, Mr. Dean's writing's really good, but sometimes it just makes my brain hurt. Huh. After a few minutes' observation, you approach what seems like the best vendor selling a mix of hearty travel-ready fruits, as well as dried travel rations. The vendor finishes up with his current sale and cheerily waves the buyer away before giving you his full attention. And what can I get you today, sir? Planning an expedition? I have everything you could need right here. You don't want to get caught out in the waste without food or water. I think we've all heard a personal story of someone lost out in the wastes. It can happen even to the best of us, am I right? The man chatters away while casually removing a headscarf and replacing it with a newer, liberally dampened one. The previous scarf now dried out and useless for its intended purpose until it is wet again. Closing his eyes and exhaling contentedly, the newly refreshened merchant smiles and gets down to business. It'd be a good idea to buy some rations since you plan on exploring locations that could be several days' travel from here. Hunger on the run can lead to making bad decisions, and bad decisions can lead to death. Fresh fruit can have a rejuvenating effect on the body. Fruit acts the same as med kits when used. You have enough food and water for a few days, but if you run into trouble, extra rations and waters could prove invaluable. Now I remember this. We are definitely getting the travel rations. I remember how bad that was. They may not be as delicious as fresh fruit, but preserved and packaged trail rations are a staple of hunter's diet for a reason. They are compact and fit easily into a pack or pocket, and they can, in theory, last for months before spoiling. Plus, they're fairly cheap, all things considered. You purchase a generous supply of rations that should comfortably cover you for the duration of your expedition until you can return to more civilized locales, and stacking them in your pack like bricks. And appetizing? Yes. Life-sustaining and easy to carry? Also yes. Still, though, your stomach growls as you look at the fruits on display. There's something to be said about food that doesn't taste like condensed cardboard. Oh, don't you worry. We are getting you some of that, too. We're going to get some water skin first, though. Water is an essential out in the wastes. The storekeeper imparts merrily as he hands you over a heavy hide water skin. This container should keep you going for years if you take care of it. That's my guarantee. Resume browsing. Now for the med kit. Well, we might get a couple of these. Always to be prepared. That's the one thing. I love this game, but there's one thing is that you can't access your character sheet from anytime you're buying something. So you have to leave the store in order to actually access it. That's one thing I don't like. But I guess he did it for a reason, so can't complain. I still can't see it here. No, I can't see it there either. Bah. Okay, fresh fruit. You select a delicious-looking bunch of fruits and pay the vendor for them, placing them carefully in your pack. This meal acts like a med kit and can be used to gain 10 health points. Okay, I'm gonna buy a few of these because these always come in handy, especially with my butt out there. I do not always make the best decisions. I have 56 gold, so let's go ahead and make it an even 50 by buying some more of these. And we'll buy another 2 water skins just in case. I prefer to go extremely prepared. Okay, I think we're good. Done with all the shopping. Done with all shopping. This is our first trip here. Contented with your purchases, you work your way slowly out of the crowded marketplace. The vendors are busy today, and the throng of peasants and merchants alike, pushing and shoving, is one of the largest concentrations of humanity you've seen in recent years outside of the few major cities, which you typically avoid whenever possible. Once you manage to break free on the outskirts of the crowd, you unsling your backpack and take a long swig of your remaining bottled water, pausing briefly to enjoy a moment of damp in spite of the various unrelenting sun before heading back on your expedition. Roll perception. I didn't remember how to save. Oh, bookmark. Okay, I had to do that because I missed this last time, I think, and I want to know what it is. Roll your fate. Yes. You roll perception and let the gods of fate decide. If you succeed, click this. You notice a group of 4 rugged-looking men pushing their way through the crowd towards you. As they get closer, the leader shoves 2 shoppers to the ground rather than wait, his goal becoming more and more obvious as the closer he gets. He's coming for you. Realizing that they've been noticed, the group drops all pretense of being average browsers, and on the word of their leader, all unsheath gleaming short swords as they advance, less than a minute away from you. Try to lose yourself in the crowd, or stand your ground and fight if you have to. Okay, well, so, I remember this part, so apparently I didn't lose the perception last time. I tried running and losing myself in the crowd last time, and yeah, that didn't work. I ended up going into a tent. Yeah, let's just say that wasn't the best choice. We're gonna stand our ground and fight if we have to. The group swiftly advances on your position, brandishing their steel as shoppers give them a wide berth, and the crowd notices what's going on. In a typical wasteland fashion, nobody moves to intervene. Few would want to chance their luck against a group of 4 armed fighters to rescue a man they haven't met. The marketplace employs a handful of armed guards, ostensibly to keep the peace, but in reality the guards rarely bother themselves unless the merchants themselves are attacked. You produce your revolvers with a rapid flourish while backing away slowly from the advancing attackers, hoping to ward them off. A moment of concentration passes over your assailant's face as they pause to look at your guns with failing comprehension. A moment passes, however, and they continue to charge. You learn one thing about your attackers from this. They aren't guild, and it is unlikely that they are the ones sent to track you. Why have they singled you out, then, is the quandary. But one you must ponder later. You must fight. Fight! I love this fighting mechanics. It's so much fun. Attack! Boom! Attack again. Yes! If you win. Never bring a knife to a gunfight. You believe the old adage you'd heard back during your training went, and it certainly held up today. Your last remaining assailant dead by your hand. You take the time to breathe and really look around you. While attempting to keep physical distance between yourself and your attackers, you unintentionally moved into the edge of a busy row of merchants and customers, all of whom are now staring at you, mostly open-mouthed. Quickly realizing your mistake, you holster your guns away and out of sight and hold up your hands in a spectating manner. As if some kind of stasis had been broken, the crowd as a whole shifts from being stuck in place agape in wonder or fear to a screaming, retreating stampede. The few figures moving in the opposite directions towards you are easy enough to pick out. The marketplace guards. Well, what the hell were they when I was getting my ass beat? Or when they tried to beat me? Because if some of you recall, we went with the the class called the Cheater. That way we could actually get through storyline without dying. And things had been going so well. You dive behind a series of abandoned merchants' tents directly behind you, and work your way around in a twisting, convoluted pattern between kiosks and tent booths in an attempt to shake pursuit. You're not entirely certain what the guards will do if they catch you, but you're not sure you'd like to find out. Aw, man, I have to do the tent one or... Okay, you know what, we'll just do the tent. You duck into the back of one of the large commerce tents and lose yourself between crates large enough to obscure 10 men if the need arose. From outside you hear one guard yelling to the other as they keep up the pursuit. The sounds of searching grow fainter as time passes at a crawl, your heart pounding in your chest. You never had time after your battle to really calm down, and your heart still races with adrenaline. Maybe this isn't... Okay, so maybe if I fight them, I don't have to deal with what's in here. Because I swear at one point when I came in here, there was somebody that attacked me. Maybe that was a different part in the story, I don't know. Focusing on staying calm and slow, deep breathing, you reduce your heart rate and become more clear-headed. As you do so, you notice a twinge somewhere within your psyche. It almost feels as though you are being pulled towards something close by. You look around to make sure the coast is clear before working your way over to one of the smaller crates. Yes, whatever force is calling you is emanating from within. You flip open the top of the box and are initially disappointed. At first glance, it almost appears as if there is nothing inside. Upon a closer examination, however, there is a small cylindrical piece of metal at the bottom of the crate. Picking it up and examining it, you are suddenly and inexplicitly sure that this item is in some way linked to your mutation. Oh, really? I didn't think you could get mutation stuff this early. I didn't think that came till later. The piece is about 3 inches long and dull red in color. It looks suspiciously like a key of some sort. The ending third of the cylinder, sporting a series of jagged nooks and crannies similar in many ways to a traditional key. You have no idea what it does or why you need it, but you've learned in the past that it's best to follow these gut feelings. You pocket the key. Poking your head out of the tent, you quickly ascertain that there are no guards nearby and methodically slip your way around the eerily quiet marketplace to your horse, which thankfully remains unguarded. Mounting up, the extra height of your mount affords you a better view of the marketplace, and you note that most of the shopkeepers and customers have gathered at the opposite end of the market, although some are beginning to filter back, presumably on the word of the guards that the peace has been reestablished. Not wanting to be here when the crowd gets back, you get a move on and head out, back into the wastelands. East, where you have heard rumors of a buried fortress. North, to check out the military base. Okay, so those are your 2 choices. I, however, am going to leave this here for right now. I'm a few minutes past my time. So I will leave the choice up to you guys. Let me know down in the comments below which way you think we should go. If you think we should go east, to where we've heard rumors of a buried fortress, or if we should go north to check out the military base. And whichever way you guys choose, I will go in the next video. However, if you guys don't choose, well, then I guess I'll flip a coin. So, yeah, that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. If you liked the video, mash that like button like it's on a controller, and feel free to comment and subscribe for more content in the future. And as always, I'm Nalabyte, and I will see you all in the next one. Later, guys!